Welcome to the Rusty Hook Kayak Fishing Podcast, a member of the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network. We're streaming live via Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, bringing you the latest in fishing tips, gear reviews with our friend from Payne Outdoors, Chris Payne, as well as some local and regional tournament news. We'll bring you on some special guests to talk kayak fishing. Now, let's join John Rapp, your host. Hey guys, welcome to the Rusty Hook Kayak Fishing Podcast. So, typical live shows have live incidents and accidents and things that happen that sort of throw a monkey wrench into it. Had a really good show lined up, and then it got rug got pulled out, and can't help the reasons for it, because sometimes policies dictate what can be done. But get into the subject of the show tonight was hey Mikey, may give you a shout here, buddy, if you're available. Let me know. But the subject of the show was about the grand opening, and quite simply put, here in West Virginia, we now have more options to go buy equipment from a big retail store. Many of you may know or not know that are in the West Virginia kayak fishing community or fishing community, outdoors sportsmen, that Academy Sports just opened up their big store down in Barboursville. And one of our peeps, a good friend of ours, is the sporting goods department manager, and that's Brandon Honecker. He's working right now. Last night when we were chatting, he was going to come on. He was going to talk about the store and stuff like that. He sent me a message a little bit this afternoon saying, hey, two things. I can't go on and talk about the store. There's some policies. I love my job. It just opened. I mean, they just had their soft opening Sunday, Saturday and Sunday. They're opening up now. They should have a ticker tape event coming up soon. Maybe we'll hear from Brandon about that, so all of us can go down there. I think it might be this weekend when we'll do their grand opening. But they had a soft opening this weekend. But Academy Sports, Barboursville, right off the interstate on 64, going toward Huntington, or from Huntington going to Charleston. So we got another location where we can go find some good dry gear, wet weather gear. Academy Sports has it all. And with Brandon being there, all of us should be able to find out, hey, what's going on? Is there any good sales? Things like that. And him being the store manager, he's going to say, yeah, man, come on. We got good sales. Come and see us. So, yeah, that was the news. And, these guys, before they got here, they came to West Virginia, and they did some research. So here on the video I'm about to run, we have the guys come in. Is Marty Smith. This is just a teaser clip. You can go to the Academy Sports, but he made a trip down to another kayak angler who also has his own guide business down in Hinton. And I'm drawing a blank. Here we go.
West Virginia. I'm here for one reason: the elusive smallmouth bass that live in the New River Gorge.
That's a West Virginia smallmouth right there, baby.
For Academy Sports and Outdoors, I'm Marty Smith, and this is Traditions.
It's cold outside here in West Virginia now. Let's watch that again.
West Virginia. I'm here for one reason: the elusive smallmouth bass that live in the New River Gorge.
That's a West Virginia smallmouth right there, baby.
For Academy Sports and Outdoors, I'm Marty Smith, and this is Traditions.
Yeah, I'm thinking I may have to reach out to that man. Old Marty Smith. I don't know him. Anybody know Marty Smith from Academy Sports? let's reach out to him. Let's get him on the show and let's talk about what they have planned.
Thank y'all for being here.
Well, got another video running in the background here.
On a somber note, really.
Neil Brown.
On me.
I was watching that earlier from the West Virginia University football team, watching his press conference. But while I was getting ready for the show, but yeah, Marty Smith, I want to reach out to you, brother. Reach out to you. Let's talk some kayak fishing. I want to hear what you guys got going on in West Virginia, and bro, if you need to know about any of the rivers in West Virginia, somebody that in our group can guide you and take you to some good fish on top of what you did with the guys down in Hinton from New River Outdoors, I think. It's Sammy Pugh's store. I think it's still Sammy Pugh. He's part of the guide group, I believe. Sammy is. But anyway, yeah. So I'm excited about that, and Brandon, I'm excited for you, buddy. It's too bad we can't talk about what you do and what the store's doing, but we're excited, and I think several of us will be down there. You guys, the 5 viewers that are watching right now, hit that like button, share, follow. Let me know who you are, and Jason, we'll call you up here in a little bit, buddy. I know you're working hard out there on that side job. Probably also going to give you a side job. So thank you, Jason. If you guys watched the stream that we did last week, I talked about Jason and the work that he does, and how as kayak anglers, we help each other out. And Jason had skill sets that I needed. He came in, took care of me, and I really appreciate him. But something new. Let's put a chapter right there, a mark, and now we're going to go forward. I've been dabbling with what I want to do for my next season, and this is something that I want to do that I'm going to incorporate. So I reached out to 2 of my buddies that have been frequent contributors to the show, and they answered some questions for me, and that's what we're going to do. And then after the fact, I'm going to call a couple people, and we're going to do it live. So if you would like to be involved, would like to answer these questions that were about to come up, then shoot me a message. Let's hit it, man.
For a fun day of fishing, it's got to be family. My dad, wife, kids, nephews, and my paddle and fin family. Some of my best memories on the water are definitely with family, and I just enjoy every trip out with them. Favorite bodies of water? Lakes would definitely be my home lake. If you love to catch big, largemouth out deep, you can't beat it. Home lake. Probably drop shot or crankbait. And I know that sounds crazy, but I've been working on both of those a little bit more every year, and I think I'm finally getting the hang of it, but those are the 2 I struggle most with. I learned to fish, age 7, I think. Ice fishing, actually. I caught a 18 3/4 inch crappie through the ice, then transferred over to fishing some ponds with a Snoopy rod on some small farm ponds with my dad, catching bluegills, and then as I got older, I just kind of expanded from there. Favorite technique lately has been the shaky head, fishing out deep around structure. Nothing can beat when they're just chomping on it and coming up from 14 foot of water and just tail dancing in front of you. Favorite anglers on the pro side, definitely Mike Iaconelli. I remember seeing him as a teenager how chaotic and excited he would get, and it really sparked that fishing bug back in me. And then on the kayak side, definitely Josh Stewart, Cody Milton, Derek Brundle, Jody Queen, like some top-notch guys. You always see them at the top of the leaderboard, and some of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. They treat you with respect, and it's almost like you've been friends for a long time every time you talk to them.
Who would I like to take out for a fun day of fishing? I'd like to be able to take out my dad, who passed away a couple of years ago. He always wanted to do that with me, and I wish I could have taken him out there. So I'd like to take out my dad.
Thank you, Greg.
What's my favorite fishery? I would have to say it's Stick Marsh. Always had an amazing time there. Great location, so the Stick Marsh. My least favorite technique. Anything that requires me to go slow. So worming, dropping it deep, anything that causes me to go slow, I don't like it. When did I learn to fish? I learned to fish 11 years ago from a kayak at my very first Heroes on the Water event. My favorite technique, hands down, using the frog all day long. Use the frog. Which anglers do I admire the most? On the pro circuit, Gerald Swindle. And in the kayak, hands down, Mike Elsie's one of the best ones to watch.
All right, we're back, and I hope you guys enjoyed the interviews that I did there with Brian and Randy. Appreciate those guys being good sports. They would send me the 20, 15, or 20-second clips via Messenger after I sent them and asked them the information, the questions for the interview. And it was cool. I'm sitting at the house on the weekend, and this weekend, and I was watching that MOF event that they had back up in the summer, and I think it was St. Lawrence up in New York. Man, what a beautiful fishery. Beautiful. And some monster smallmouth come out of there. It's amazing how you learn more about the country you live in and where all the good fishing is. And thank God we have such a beautiful and huge community in the kayak fishing world that, when you find out something about a place like that, you can reach out to somebody. I got a team member that's up that way that fishes in New York with the Feel Free team, and I'm going to be hitting him up and asking him about that river, at lake, river and lake. I think when they fished that tournament in the summer, the only thing they did was hit the river. But I've reached out to a few people about these same questions. There was 6 questions, as you guys saw as it came across your screen, and got a few people lined up to interview live. So before we go out and reach out to them, let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Yak Gadget, proudly supplying you with American-made products and gear. Check out yakgadget.com. Ace Resort, West Virginia's #1 destination for whitewater, hiking, ziplining, and more. Check out aceraft.com. That's Brooks Supply Company, Georgia's #1 go-to kayak fishing supply store. Gear, accessories, and custom rigging. Look them up, westbrooksupplyco.com. Payne Outdoors is a custom plastic maker, design consultant, product reviewer, and outdoor writer. Check out more at payneoutdoors.com. Feel Free Kayaks. Paddle, pedal, or power, there's something for everyone. check out feelfreeus.com. All right, guys, we're back. Hey, those organizations that you just watched come across the screen, these sponsors, where we have Westbrook Supply with Fletch, Feel Free, Rolling in the Crew. You know, you got Guggen Bros, you got Chris Payne, my boy Chris. I'm waiting for him to get refreshed, get his store and everything right, and then hopefully we can get him to come back on an episode or two. He's been really busy, and I need to reach out to him, see how things are going. But then, you know, Yak Gadget, John Thomas, it's Christmas time, and watch for some specials from these guys. You know, they support us as kayak anglers, so if you're looking to buy some stuff for your family or friends, go to those companies and spend a little of your money there. I know things are tight, but all right, 6 guys we got watching with us. We got Mikey Holcomb, Heath Mullins, Tommy Covey, Mikey Radner, Jason. Appreciate you guys watching. So I'm going to reach out to a couple people that I've contacted and see if we can get them online, and we're going to ask them a few questions. Hey, oh man, I tell you what, you know, when it comes to my boys and girls and the gang at the Paddle and Fin, when I ask for help, I can always count on my boy Sean. So, Sean, you're bailing me out, and I appreciate it. My guest tonight was unable to come on because of some new store policies that he just learned about. But, you know, we got a new Academy Sports here in West Virginia, and I was telling everybody it just had their soft opening this weekend.
Okay.
But, hey, man, so I appreciate you. I know you just hop on to answer a couple questions. I'm doing a angler profile, sort of like what the MLF guys do.
Okay.
And so there's 6 questions. So
All right.
Let's go with this one. When did you learn to fish?
Not until relatively late in life. When I was very young, I went fishing a few times with my grandmother, oddly enough, and it's kind of crazy because I lived right along the river for like my whole life.
That's outstanding.
And,
That's outstanding.
And then when I didn't really fish a whole lot until I kind of met my wife. I was still dating her at the time, and her father-in-law was a big, well, not a big fisherman, but you know, so I kind of started as a way to bond with him. And so that was probably, wow, I mean, in my 20s when I kind of started dabbling in it. And then I don't know if I've talked to you about it before, but I had a heart attack when I was 36. And I was really active in a ton of different sports leading up to that. And my doctors told me I had to take it easy for a little bit. So I wanted a hobby that wouldn't be super high stress on me, but that I still enjoyed. So that's when I really, really kind of jumped into fishing hardcore and really got into it. So I'm 45 now, so it's been, you know, some time since then. So, but that's really when I started fishing hardcore, as a way to recover from my heart attack. So
outstanding, brother. Well, I'm kudos to Grandma because that's who got me started too.
Awesome.
Hey man, what is your favorite technique?
Well, the one I have the most confidence in right now is Ned Rig. It catches me stuff when nothing else is working. But I've really kind of started getting in touch with my more power fishing side. I've kind of figured out the baitcaster now. Initially, I wasn't really good with that, but I've kind of worked my way to be, you know, feeling a lot more confident. So I've actually kind of really started working with the moving baits a lot more. But if I had to pick one bait and one bait only to take with me, it would be a Ned Rig.
Amen, brother. Okay. What is your least favorite technique?
And it's one I want to learn better, but drop shot. everybody loves and talks it up, and I have yet to really catch a fish on it. And I, not for lack of trying again, but I don't know what it is about it that it's got to be technique or something I'm doing wrong, because I've talked to a ton of people that say it's a killer technique, but I just have no confidence in it whatsoever. So.
I hear you, man. So, who would you take with you for a day of fun fishing?
Ooh, that's a good question. Anybody. I mean, if I could bring my stepdad back, I would take him with me.
I hear
I
you.
didn't really get to fish with him, and sadly, he gave up fishing a lot, when he kind of came into my life to kind of take care of us and our family. Apparently he fished a lot when he was younger, and then whether it was work or whatever, he, kind of gave up that part of his life a little bit. He sold his boat and, a bunch of other sacrifices that he made for us. And so selfishly, if I could bring him back, I would fish with him. But, man, if I could pick anybody alive, it would probably be, let's see, I'd say Jeff Little, because I would want to learn and absorb as much from him as I possibly could, because I know he knows the river and is a great teacher. And he's actually offered me to go out with him a few times. I just got to take him up on it one of these times. So
Do it. And speaking of which, what is your favorite fishery?
Susquehanna River, no questions.
yeah, I mean it's out your back door. That's a no-brainer, man. Yeah, heck yeah. Okay, and I think I got two more for you.
Okay.
Which anglers do you admire the most? And let's break that down into pro fisherman and kayak angler.
Okay. Well, Jody Queen is my favorite kayak angler. I mean, he is the most humble guy, but he's also, a huge ambassador for the sport. He will talk to anybody. I feel like, if you met him at the ramp, he would be the kind of guy who would talk to you for 45 minutes, not worrying about where he has to go or, and just the conversations I've had with him, he's one of my favorite guests that I've had on my show. And,
Right.
I think the world of him, and I think he's a great ambassador for our sport, like I said. And, and he's a stick, man.
He's a goat. He's the goat. And your pro fisherman? Anyone of them out there, their personalities just jive with you?
I like Ike. I like his enthusiasm. It doesn't matter if he's catching a tiny little bass. He is still, woo, screaming at the top of his lungs and super psyched about it. And that kind of goes right along with me. If I'm catching fish, I'm happy. I don't care if it's a lunker or whatever. I mean, it could be a creek job. I always joke about that. But, the tug is my drug. And I think that kind of goes along with his kind of personality.
Amen. Last question for you, and I appreciate you taking your time to do this, is what is your biggest accomplishment to date? I know you won a tournament this year.
I did win a small local tournament, but I would say, taking the jump and trying to fish the Hobie. I mean, that was a big thing for me. I didn't, do as well as I would have hoped, but I still went and did it. And, hobnobbed with some of the biggest names in the kayak fishing industry. And so I count that as, even though I didn't do, as well as I wanted, I still count that as probably the highlight of my year this year. So.
Outstanding. Guys and gals, my boy Sean Lavery of the Paddle and Fin Network has a show that runs weekly, The Noobs. So he's got a co-host, the Queen of Fishing, Susie. So check them out when you get time. Hey, brother, I appreciate you jumping on for a few minutes and helping me out. Nothing but
No
love
problem,
for you.
John.
I appreciate you. So
Same
that's
to you, brother.
All right, you have a good evening.
You too, bud.
All right, that was our boy Sean. Now, let's see if I got another guy lined up. He's on the road, and he just liked the show there a little bit ago. He's out doing some, as he put it to me, he's out making that hobby money. So let's give him a call. Hey man, hey, take Take your phone and turn it sideways for me. Oh, there we go. Let's fill up that screen, all that beautiful man right there. Hey, man, guys, gals, this is our boy Jason Favor from Greenbrier / Fayette County area. He's a border boy. So, hey, man, Jason, appreciate you letting me pick your brain here for my kayak angler profile of the day.
Yeah, man.
So like I was telling you earlier when I reached out to you, just got 6 questions I want to ask you. We just got off the phone with our boy Sean Lavery up in Pennsylvania. Of all places, the guy lives right on the Susquehanna. I mean,
That's an easy favorite for him.
yeah, it sure is. I mean, and now we have my boy here who's right down on the New and the Greenbrier. So I'm looking forward to hearing this answer here in a little bit. But first, when did you learn to fish?
I started out doing a lot of trout fishing, catfishing, stuff like that as a young age. But honestly, bass fishing, I didn't get into it until about 3 or 4 years ago, really digging into it. So it's a pretty new game for me, and especially the kayak thing. So
Outstanding. So how are you liking it? Are you in it full blown?
yeah, I just stepped right off the cliff into it, I think. So
Yeah.
I actually my first year I just fished with the one local club. This year I added the second, so who knows if we'll add all 3 state clubs in this year or not. We'll see.
With your skills, son, you need to be out on hitting the Hobie and the KBF big events, make some of that money. So hey, when it comes to anglers you admire, who do you admire the most? And break that down for me into 2 ways. 1, your pro angler, and 2, your kayak angler.
Sure. For me, I think it's been a favorite for the day, but for kayak side, definitely Jody Queen. One, he's a local guy for us, but he's just, if you follow him on social media or just meet him, he's just a really stand-up guy. He's just he's good to talk to. He's a nice guy. He loves to help out other people. So plus, he's obviously a stick. So
the greatest ever alive in a kayak. There's no doubt about it in my mind.
On the pro side, probably as far as personality goes, I love watching Gerald Swindell. G-Man, he's got a fun personality. He's a lot of fun to watch. This year I really got into the MLF game, and I really like watching Dustin Connell. He's a lot of fun to watch and has a lot of enthusiasm, and he had a great year this year. So.
Well, it's funny you would say that because these questions came off the MFL event, and so I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna grab that, pick that up, and do that with our kayak anglers. So,
sure.
Now, your least favorite technique.
Also, I think a reigning favorite tonight, drop shot. It's got to be crankbait is a close second for me. But yeah, the drop shot. It's hard to, for me, it's hard to figure out, but it's also hard to fish that slow for me. I like tying on probably, anything that I can burn, spinner baits and stuff like that. So it's hard for me to go as slow as even a shaky head stuff for me.
So I was going to say, that's your least favorite technique. Who would you take with you for a fun day of fishing?
It's on the sentimental side, I guess. Just about any of my family. My nephew got involved this year, and it was fun taking him out, seeing him kind of enjoy himself out on the water. My stepdad also got into it towards the end of last year and some this year, so it was fun being out on the water with him since he's the one that kind of got me started in those trout fishing early on days. But then on the other side of that, we've got a lot of local hammers. Mark Edwards and Blaine had an awesome year. I fish a lot with Heath and his brother Matt Mullins. But anybody really that I can learn something, from, I love being out on the water with them and kind of absorbing that knowledge. So.
Amen, brother. Okay, let's see. So I've asked you that one. Favorite technique?
It's got to be a spinnerbait, hands down. I feel like with a spinnerbait, depending on which one it is, I can pretty well tie it on any body of water, and I have confidence in it. So.
Okay, to date, what would you say is your biggest accomplishment?
That's tough. This year in general, just kind of keeping up with everything. As you know, and you talked about earlier, I work full time, but also do a lot of side work. So just to be able to get out on the water and compete as much as I do is an accomplishment. Um, but probably the biggest one is last year. A lot of people that probably watching this in our local area know that last year I caught my PB up at Elk Fork, but about 5 seconds later lost my phone in the bottom of the lake. So never got to submit it and never had a picture of it to show anybody. But
Can you, tell us how big it was.
it was at the time that was my PB, but it was 18 3/4. This year at Mud River, Upper Mud, I was able to top that at 19 1/4. So
Nice.
so that was a good accomplishment for me to kind of redeem myself and keep my phone in hand.
That's awful, man. That was funny, but
Everybody got a good laugh out of it. I think Jason Plumley probably
No
still
doubt.
never let me live it down. So.
I no doubt, man. Okay, and the last question is probably the easiest question for you. Is what is your favorite fishery?
I don't know if that's the easiest or not. There's a lot of them that I've explored over the last couple of years, and that's been a really good part about being in the different tournament trails. It's kind of exploring our state and seeing the great fisheries we have. But it's hard to beat the New River. There's huge smallmouth in there. It's a lot of fun to fish, and I've learned a lot of new sections of it over the last couple of years. There's been a few that growing up that I've always known about, but exploring kind of the different ones as I talk to different people in the different clubs and seeing those awesome sections. We fished down near the Virginia border this year on the New River, and it's just beautiful down through there.
Oh yeah, definitely. Have you been up on the Cheat River yet?
I have not, no. But I actually have family in Parsons, which is
Oh.
it's right down the road. So
Yes,
I've got to get up there and check
yes, yeah. And if you need somebody to go with you, you call me.
Sounds good.
Without a doubt, I love that river. It's still re-emerging from where it had that natural that disaster back in the late '90s or early '90s from that chemicals. But if you want to catch 9-10 inch smallmouth, it's every cast.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding you. It's as good or better than floating the Greenbrier when it comes to that. So
A lot of people hate on the Greenbrier, but it's a fun-filled day. We go camping a lot up at Watoga, and we floated a lot of the upper Greenbrier up through there, up near Marlington and stuff. And it's a lot of fun. You might catch small ones, but you're catching fish all day and having a blast.
And like Sean said there a little bit ago, the tug is the drug, and if you catch a big
Exactly.
one, that's just even better. So, hey man, I appreciate you coming on, and
Yeah,
I'm going to
thanks
reach
for the
out.
invite.
Hey man, I'm going to reach out to you here soon. It's just me and Beth were talking. I know it's cold. it's fishing season's over, and I know you told me last year. You said, brother, from October to March, call me. But from
Wide open.
March to October, I'm fishing. So I know
Yeah.
you and your partner are probably out working. You said you's out doing something tonight, and I wish
Yeah.
you the best, man.
I made it back home in time, so we're good to go. But just give me a call. We'll get you scabs up, figured it
Yeah,
out.
man,
But,
and it's a bathroom wall I need to replace that down there in
Yeah.
the basement. So I'm gonna start working on that.
sounds good, man. Yeah, just let me know.
All right, brother. All right, hey, that is my boy. Oh, I love that guy, Jason. He's the total package. But Jason, nothing but love for you. Appreciate you coming on the show. Let's see if we can make one more call, and then we will maybe wrap up the show. I see it's 7 o'clock. I know I'm going to drop viewers here now. The West Virginia University basketball team is playing at home. Let's see. There's who's on? Mikey. I think he might be on. Let's give Mikey a call. Hey, brother Mikey.
How are you, sir?
Hey, man. Hey, thank you for your service, my crayon-eating brother.
Appreciate your service, brother.
Nothing but love for you.
Right back at you.
Hey, man, doing a little segment, something new that I'm going to try to incorporate into the shows. I don't know if you, well, I know you caught it earlier. I did a 2-minute video where I had a couple guys send me the answers so I could I could build a video and throw it up. But I thought we would reach out and do some live interviews, and I appreciate you answering the call, man. So let's jump right into these 6 questions. Number 1, when did you learn how to fish?
I don't even remember back that far, John.
So childhood?
Yeah, early childhood. I was blessed to have grandparents that always had a boat and docked on the Tiger Lake most of my life, and then switched to Stonewall later in life. Even though I didn't fish Stonewall till 3 years ago for the first time. But I grew up. They had a pontoon boat on Tiger Lake, and we would. My grandfather and I would get off on shore, and we would just walk the bank throwing rooster tails and just hammering smallmouth. And I can't even count. Most of my childhood memories of my grandfather was somewhere along that lake throwing a rooster tail, just
That's
catching smallmouth. So.
That's outstanding. And where you're located at is basically where I learned how to fish too. Right next to where you're at, I was at Stone Cold. You know, my grandmother and them lived over in Adrian, right outside of Buchanan, and we would take an old coal road down to the bottom from where her house was. We'd set up over by the dam, and I can remember I was 4 or 5 years old. She would take one of them old tire irons, and she had it taped up with electrical. I had a wire hooked up to it, and she'd stick it in the ground. And then she'd plug that thing up, and you'd see them worms come up. She'd go pick up worms, and then off the fishing we went, buddy. So, yeah, beautiful. Hey, man, so there's one. How about, what is your favorite fishing technique?
My favorite fishing technique. That's tough. For many, many years, it was probably a jig. But here, since I've been kayaking for the last 2.5 years, and being able to access areas I was never able to access, I've really found a love for frogs. That topwater bite in general, but I love throwing frogs over mats or cheese, or I just love that bite. So probably frogs.
Amen, man. Amen. Okay, so this is a 2-part question. Which anglers do you admire the most? Throw me a pro angler out, and then throw one over to the kayak angler side. And I think I know your answer there.
On the pro side, it'd be G-Man. I've heard that a few times tonight, but just his enthusiasm, his true love and passion for the sport shows through in that, as well as it's just his down-to-earth beliefs and way of teaching and looking at things. I feel like I can relate to him most of G-Man. And on the kayak side, I'm going to be a little partial to family. That'd be Matt Ball.
Yeah, buddy.
He's family, but he's a local West Virginia boy. He may be in Ohio now, but he still fishes a lot of our local clubs. And
right.
I feel like he's a great representation of the sport. And Jody Queen would definitely be a close second.
Yeah, I think
Matt Ball would be.
Definitely the 2 of them are the greatest kayak anglers to walk our area of the woods, no doubt about that. So, got that one. What is your least favorite technique?
I'm going to jump on that drop shot. And again, it's not for lack of try. I have tried to figure that out, and I don't know. I've been lucky to catch a few, but there's no confidence in it.
Yeah, I have the same issue. I can't fish that and feel the bottom and make sure that my worm is at 6 inches or 8 inches or however you set it up with that weight on the bottom. I just can't figure that out.
I've got live scoping, and I've watched it, and I can watch them nose down on that thing, and I can almost dead stick it, thinking maybe that'll be it. I've shaken it. I've done everything, and it's frustrating to watch them nose down on that bait. They just don't touch it. I don't know. I just don't like it.
Who would you take with you for a day of fun fishing?
I think I'd take anybody, especially somebody. I think the funnest days. I love fishing with anybody, experienced or non-experienced. Family, I always have a good time with, and friends and people I've met through the clubs. But I feel like my most joy comes from taking those that are either new to the sport or don't know much about it or have never fished, and watching them catch a fish, or seeing the excitement when they first catch fish. Or I mean, I still have hundreds of fish later, but I think the most enjoyment comes from people that don't get to fish often and are just looking to get out. We'll be seeing some members across some of the clubs this year. Some people that I've been talking to that we'll see that'll be new to the sport that'll be joining us. So I'm excited for them. But really anybody, especially children to adults, just that are trying to get into it or don't get to do it much. I feel like that's where it's most enjoyment.
Amen. And what is your favorite fishery?
Here in the Mountain State, it'd have to be the South Branch. Big largemouth, big smallmouth, small creek. That's kind of what I grew up close to my home. Buffalo Creek flowed not far from the house, and I've waded every inch of that, I think. So it kind of fits that. But nationally, Lake Bistineau.
What was it?
Lake Bistineau. It's in Louisiana, just outside of Bossier City. That was one of the lakes open to the Nationals last year. Fell in love with it.
Oh, well, I hear you. And final question is, what would you recognize in the sport of fishing as your biggest accomplishment?
It's been a good year, John. I don't know. I would say probably taking the Angler of the Year for West Virginia for the KBF Challenge Series.
There you go, baby.
I don't know.
Outstanding.
It's been a good year to be down there and have Jody, kind of give me a shout out on that. And that's something, a local boy, especially somebody of that caliber, giving me a shout out. So that's probably the highlight of my years.
Amen. Well, outstanding year. Wish you and your family a happy Thanksgiving, and I appreciate you taking a few minutes answering the buzz and
you as well, buddy,
and giving us some of your thoughts on these questions.
Be safe out there and have a happy holiday, John.
You too, man. Be blessed.
Take care.
Hey, that's my boy Mikey. Nothing but love from my buddy up in the Fairmont, West Virginia area. We've been online now for about 43 minutes. We have salvaged tonight's show with the help of some great people, and I appreciate you guys coming out. It looks like we got 6 viewers. I want to give you guys some kudos. See if I can pull up and see who we have here. Elvis, Blaine, Mikey. Hey guys, I appreciate y'all sticking up, watching the show. Tommy, would love to get you guys online, maybe here in the next few weeks, to answer these questions, and we can continue educating people on what we love, what we don't love, and maybe somebody can learn something from us. Anyway, time to pack this gear up, run down to the house, and maybe catch the second half of the WVU slaughter, hopefully, for the basketball game. Nothing but love to everybody. Y'all be safe. I will see you next Tuesday night before Thanksgiving, and maybe we can talk a little bit about Black Friday. And guys, I got a poll on the West Virginia Kayakers member page. If you get a chance, go on there, look for that. Answer a few questions for me. I just want to know what everybody is watching for. What are you looking for out there for Black Friday that you can drop some money on? You're looking for that sale. Let me know. Send me a message. Nicholas, Beltron, Jason, you guys, let me know what y'all think. Nothing but love for you. We're out of here. Bye.